Yeah, especially with the new commerce that's being built around the Hall of Fame over the last a couple of years now for the area. So be sure to look out for us starting on Thursday night when we have the first matchup of the state championships. It's a 3-day week of games. I mean, we've had all Friday night games this year. The first time they've done it in this structure, but Thursday night be the first game, and it's the game we're focusing in on here at Big Time Sports because it's the one area team that's left. Massillon, Washington against Akron Archbishop Hoban. Again, these two teams meeting it up here in the state finals. And this is very unlike, Mitch, what I think we've come to expect from this particular rivalry in the playoffs over the last decade or so. This is a time where Massillon really has an upper hand, and they have a considerable one after what they were able to do this past weekend against Cincinnati Anderson and the way in which Hoban played their matchup against Avon.
Yeah, you start with Massillon. What's crazy though about all this is the fact that I feel like we started talking about this maybe weeks 3, 4, 5 of the high school football season, and as the season continued to progress, it was almost like we're on a collision course to see Massillon versus Hoban yet again. This is going to be the fifth time these two teams have met in the playoffs over the past 6 years. Hoban winning 3 of the previous 4. 2 of those meetings were in this exact same game, the Division II state championship. Last year, Hoban beat Massillon in the state semifinal game, 40 20 up at Infocision Stadium in Akron on the campus. Other way would you want this to go right now? If you want the best football teams playing, other than these two teams meeting up, they're very close to each other. They have the shortest drives at any of the schools amongst any of the divisions playing in the state championships. So you know Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium is going to be packed Thursday night for the marquee matchup. It's the only game on Thursday, the standalone game. But you're right. For some reason, a lot of talk has been this is Massillon's best shot. And it all starts with DeJuan Owens, the quarterback. If you are not a believer in DeJuan Owens or you just haven't seen him play yet, it was evident this past week in their state semifinal game. The first play, him taking it all the way to the house. I mean, even last week against Green in the regional final, the first play, he went for a big run. This player is so dynamic. He is one of the fastest quarterbacks I've seen in recent memory. So he has that breakaway speed. He still can throw the ball. Massillon has weapons all over the field. He has a gigantic offensive line in front of him to protect him. We saw what happened when Massillon played Green, and Green 2 years ago beating Massillon. And Mitch, well, no, because Hoban didn't play Green, but if things shake out differently, we're possibly talking about 6 straight years those two teams meet in the Final Four or better. But Massillon came out and took it to Green. And you have to imagine they're going to have some sense of revenge in this game. Yet I still feel like Massillon has all the pressure. But when you look at the track it's went, Massillon's handled everybody easily. I mean, really, their closest game was this last game they just won, only in the first quarter because it was 7-7 after 2-3 plays, then 14-7 after a kickoff return, and after that, Massillon ran away with it. Where Hoban had to win a different way. Outside of 2-3 games this year, Mitch, and one of them being a loss to St. Ed's, who's the number 1 team in the state of Ohio, who's going for a three-peat this weekend in Canton, Ohio, they've been able to score pretty much however they want. The other game really was against Cleveland Glenville, who, oh, by the way, they're back in Canton this year going for a repeat in the Division IV state championship. They've been able to score and do whatever they want. But this past game, the state semifinal game against Avon, they had to lean on the defense, and the defense came through. And for Hoban, that has to be huge, a huge vote of confidence for that team, knowing that the one time they had to rely on him, it didn't work out that well. They were also going against the top team in the state of Ohio overall. I mean, not just in divisions. I think St. Ed's would probably beat anybody in the state of Ohio with how they're playing right now. I think Hoban has to actually have some confidence after that close win over Avon this past week because they were kind of in unfamiliar territory. And the only time it was familiar this year was in a loss. And this time they come out on top. They're back to the state championship game. This game Thursday has all the makings of an instant classic. because these two schools don't like each other. These two schools are very, very talented at football. And Hoban wants to add more to their trophy case, and Massillon's looking to finally put an actual physical trophy in the trophy case from winning the state championship game and not a poll.
No, I mean, with the way that Hoban's defense was able to hold on against Avon, definitely gives them an amount of confidence going into the matchup. But you have to take on a team now that had a Cincinnati Anderson squad that was averaging 40 points a game
Yeah.
going into last Friday, and you beat them 55-7. That's the sort of thing where I'm looking at it like, okay, Massillon's got the offense down. They've got the defense down this game. They're going up against a team that last time they played against each other in a situation like this, they lost in their back yard in their own stadium that 2020 season. I know that Coach Moore is going to be drilling that message into the kids throughout the week. There's no way they can let this slip by again, because this is the best team that Massillon's probably had in a long time, if not ever, in the at least in the OHSAA playoff era. So I think this is like, and we'll get to another game that might have had more implications than we anticipated. But this is a game that this is the one that if Massillon gets it, it puts them on the map. It gets them that football championship in the playoff era that they've been yearning for decades. It'll be the first time a Massillon school has won a state football title. Jackson won their basketball titles. I know that. But yeah, I feel like Massillon's got all, not the edge, the entire edge right now. We'll go on to this later on in the week, but they have every incentive to get this job done compared to Hoban, who is going to be competitive no matter what. They're not going to go into this timid, but they won it in what here? 2020. They won it in 2018. They won it in 2017. They've been here before, at least this like, I don't know if this particular class has for this whole football squad be their first
last year
20. So okay, so yeah. Last year
they lost last year.
Yes, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. They've been here before. It's more so, are they going to be able to handle this potential juggernaut coming in that is the Tigers?
And I'm glad you mentioned Massillon's defense, because as much praise, and I'm probably one of the most guilty of it at anybody. As amazing as DeJuan Owens is, and look, I was probably prisoner of the moment. I was there the first game of the year against Valdosta State, where Massa made the change at half, and Owens offensively single-handedly brought them back in that game to beat Valdosta. The Massillon defense still is not getting talked about enough. Not only is this Massillon's probably most complete team in recent memory, Mitch, this is probably the best overall defensive unit they have had in quite a long time. So when you make the claim this could be their most complete team, I don't think that's far-fetched at all. I think it's actually closer to being a fact than it is fiction. This is Massillon's best shot in recent memory to win a state championship. The other thing that I worry about, keep in mind, DeJuan Owens was not here the past few years, right? He does not have all this, if it's a close game, where's the head going? Because he's just out here playing football. This is a guy that's playing football at an extremely high level, that is starting to get college looks at a high level. He already had looks. You just wonder, though, with how these games have gone. Massillon has not been in a tight contest since the St. Ed's win in midseason. Hoban, meanwhile, is coming from a tightly contested contest. If this game is tight, is it at all possible where doubt creeps into Massillon players' minds, knowing the past against this team? And that's what I think the biggest thing has to be. But if Massillon comes out and they score quick, not talking first play quick like Owens did last week at historic Crew Stadium in Columbus, but if they take that first drive and go down and score, whether they're down 7-0, 3-0, or they get the ball first, that place is going to be so electric in terms of the atmosphere with the Massillon crowd coming. They are the home team because they're the number one team in the state of Ohio, I do believe. In terms of them being the home team. I know that the number one team in the state of Ohio for Division II. They should have the bigger side, obviously get a little more allotted tickets. But Mitch, you're going to be there. I'm going to be there. Anybody that has no plans Thursday night that likes high-level high school football, you need to go, because this is going to be potentially the best overall game in what I'm going to call this rivalry that really is only shaping up every year in the Final Four state championship game.